What's up, guys? Happy Tuesday. Freaking pumped to get another league going here. Appreciate you guys joining tonight. We're doing I know the last draft we did, it was Avery did that on Sunday, and it was like a high stakes league. Ton of traffic on that one too. So again, I appreciate you guys coming in and joining. If you guys want to get the season pass here, I know there are a couple of questions about how you can get into a league. If you want to get into a league, again, I think we're going to do one or two more at least before the start of the season next Thursday. So if you want to get in a league, Xanda, I would highly recommend signing up for the season pass here. That's how people are getting in these leagues. It's literally $34. You get access to the site. You get access to our draft guides, our draft guide FSCs, Flock Fantasies, and Dynasty Lands. Full access to all the tools and everything. And we'll get you. We'll get y'all coming in. Dylan, Nick, what's up? Anna, love all the Star Wars in the background. Thank you. I'm so proud, you know. Dennick's in tonight. Freaking pumped for that. He's at the 9th pick, so he's going to be sniping me all day long. Rock Candy got in one last week, so happy to watch, but we'll be open to filling in if needed for a future one. Awesome, man. Just let us know. Send me a DM. We've always got a couple of spots left. But again, guys, if you want to get into one of these leagues, which again, limited spots remaining because the season's coming up on us real quick. Season pass right here. If you follow this link, it's also pinned in the comments for you guys. But let's get this show on the road. I'm picking at 10th here. So we'll see. I don't think I've picked of all the fantasy leagues I've done so far, home leagues, domain leagues, flock league, all that stuff. I don't think I've picked as far as the other end here at the 110. I don't recall if I don't think I have. So we'll see what goes on here. But Jamar Chase and Bijan go at the 102. The first 6 picks of every fantasy draft are standard operating procedure every single time. Every single time. It gets really interesting at like 1-7 and beyond. Eco says, should I start DJ Moore, Garrett Wilson at wide receiver 2 for a PPR Superflex? We're going to go with Garrett Wilson, I think. A little bit more of a certainty in terms of like, you know that he's a number 1. You know he's going to get consistent target volume. It's a bad offense, but I think we're going to give the benefit of the doubt to Garrett Wilson until he doesn't get that target volume. DJ Moore's a little more hit or miss, I think, consistently. Avery said, what's up, y'all? Any notable leagues that had notably bad picks lately? Great question, Avery. I don't know where you've been recently or who you are. Let me know where you're from, but appreciate you joining in tonight. No, I honestly haven't heard of anything recently. So good question. Would love to hear some of your guys' comments in the chat if you've seen any crazy draft picks go down. Lubby's a big Star Wars fan himself. So proud of you, dude. Congratulations. Malik Neighbors goes at the 1-8, CMC at the 1-7. So again, the big 6 go off the board here. Pretty much no problem. We'll see who makes it here to me at the 110. Dennick's thinking long and hard about this pick. Nick said, who we targeting here? I'll tell you once I make the pick who I'm targeting. There goes Genty at the 1-9. Dennick goes ahead and snags him there. That makes my pick pretty easy personally. I'll take Puka all day at the 110, twice on Sundays. Thank you and good night. That's actually my first Puka share, I think, in any draft, any league. So I'm happy to do that. I'm not overexposed to Puka this year. Very happy to make that move. So Dennick takes Genty, which I don't think is a bad pick either. Genty could pop off this year. Absolutely pop off. I mean, you can make that argument, Artem. I honestly won't fight it because, let's be honest, a large reason that both of those franchises have been so successful is because of the GOAT, John Williams. So I love both of them, like, so much. Any confetti cannons this evening? No confetti cannons here, unless Avery like busts into the door at my house and decides to blow off a few cannons. I don't expect that to be happening tonight. There goes Henry and then Amon-Ra and BTJ on the wrap. So a heavy wide receiver start for S.A. Harkey. That'll be interesting to see who he gets at the 3-4 turn. I honestly don't think it's a bad start. Of all the places to go double wide receiver, I think the place to do it is at the turn here. See who Tiny Goose goes with. Puka's the best between the 20s fantasy player. If touchdowns come, watch out. Yeah, no, I mean, he's the least touchdown-dependent wide receiver that I think I've ever seen. Like, elite producing wide receiver that does not require touchdowns. It's Puka Nacua, hands down. So, yeah, I mean, you're talking, like, legit wide receiver, top 3 wide receiver upside if he goes crazy with touchdowns. Okay, just making sure I'm not missing anybody obvious here, but yeah, I mean, I think the obvious pick for me is Devon Achane. I know he's questionable heading into week 1. I think his upside this season is great. I think a Puka and Achane start, I'm totally cool with. So, Denick ends up snagging Drake London to pair with Genty, which I think is honestly, I think it's a safe start. Some people will say, oh, you're risky because you have Ashton Genty, who took a rookie in the first round. He's going to be hyper productive this year. Yes, Nathan did get his Puka. I'm so happy about it. Based on the algorithm, looking at the draft strategy for these top 10 or for the 10th overall pick, I ended up getting a faller that didn't really I mean, again, same tier, Amon-Ra, Neighbors, and Puka generally going in this range, and then in round 2, essentially a running back being a target for me, which I got Achane, so I'm very happy about that. So far, it's as expected with my draft strategy. Algorithm's been super helpful when it comes to what I'm really going to be looking at, regardless of where I'm picking, because again, we have we have a draft strategy for literally every single spot, regardless of where you're picking, what platform you're playing on. If you want to get that algorithm, you can actually head over to flockfantasy.com/domain. And get that season pass for $34. You can get that algorithm draft guide and more. Legit, $34. It's 30% off right now, so $34. You get full access to the entire site, all the tool access. You get some start-sit questions and trade questions as well. You guys, I'm telling you, it's the best bang for your buck deal that we have available for you guys right now in redraft. So, classic run of running backs here in the middle round, the middle of the second round. Jacobs, JT, Chase Brown. Nothing shocking. Let's see who Joe takes. I've got a pick that I'd be happy to take here if I were him. Spoiler: new Flock League vid is in stage 2 of editing. Mason claims tonight. I wonder if that's tonight-ish or like actually tonight. I think when we dropped that draft video, Thomas, who's one of the editors, he was like, yeah, it still was tonight in Hawaii. It was still Tuesday in Hawaii. So there you go. They were right. It was tonight-ish. Alan said, what's up, Nate? How are you targeting at the 2-3 turn if you take Jamar? If I take Jamar, well, I would tell you right now, but Jack is about to make his picks here, and I don't want to name drop for his sake. So I'll tell you who I would be targeting after he goes with his picks. Yeah, 100% a Puka truther. Judkins and Caleb Johnson next round again. Yeah, no, I'll be taking them in the 3rd and 4th rounds this time around. My draft got rescheduled from tomorrow to next week. You think they weren't prepared, potentially? I don't know, dude. You should make fun of them for it, though. How are we feeling about CMC, BCJ, AJ Brown, and T start, Nathan? How did you pull that off? That's got to be in a shallower league format. Is that like a 10-team? I don't even know if that could be in a 10-team. Is that in an 8-team? It's got to be an 8-team. I mean, if it's anything higher than that, that's an elite league winning start. I think Star Wars has a higher peak with episodes 3, 5, 6, but I think Harry Potter is more consistent. That's a fair argument. It's a very fair argument. Are Are there any more $250 domain leagues left to join? I signed up for the Flock season pass, but I did not enter any of the promo codes at the time. So for the domain leagues, we do we do prioritize the people that sign up with code domain for the season pass there. But if you want to send us a DM, Kevin, we can work something out. TBD on the high stakes league. I think we might do one more. They want the engagement. Give it to him, y'all. Nathan should be getting a stipend for the content. Good evening, Nathan. What's up, Torsten? How good, bad is a Colts passing D? Would you start Tyreek and Waddle over Jefferson, Rice, Evans, or Ladd in week 1 due to the Dolphins-Colts matchup? I'm never starting Waddle over any of those guys. If you wanted to start Tyreek over Rashee, I guess you could do that since he's coming off an injury. But that's honestly the only thing that I would potentially consider. I'm not one that's going to bet on the Colts passing D to shut down Tyreek and Waddle, but I'm also not one to say start Waddle over Jefferson. Like, you're starting your best players week 1, and your best players, without question, are Jefferson, Evans, and Ladd, because Evans has no Godwin. And then Rice coming off the injury, so you probably, I'd be good with you starting Tyreek over Rice week 1. So here's at the turn, Hampton and Ladd McConkey go because Kyron Williams actually goes at the 211. So my ideal start for the 101 is Chase, Hampton, and Kyron in general. Avery was actually able to swing it in the Flock League, which ticked me off because freaking a ton of guys went higher than what's consensus for us. But I was able to get that start, I think, in one of the first leagues that we did on DFF this year. So that's personally my favorite start. And then my second option after like a Hampton and Kyron start is a Hampton and Ladd or Kyron and Ladd start. Is Cracker Barrel really changing back? Is that actually true? Cracker Barrel is back. You're telling me all the renovations that they did on the interior, they're gonna go back to the old classic look? No shot. If we did it, that's unbelievable. You guys should give yourself a hand, pat yourself on the back, as Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson actually go at the 3-2 and the 303. Cracker Barrel, it sounds like might be back unless Avery is absolutely trolling. Avery says high stakes league Sunday, by the way. So, okay, cool. High stakes league on Sunday. That was, I think, in terms of viewership, our second most successful live stream ever, including the Dynasty channel with the draft show. Last time I checked earlier today, it might, in terms of viewership, have surpassed those. So, pretty crazy. Shout out Avery. He killed it on that stream. Flock League video premiering. Yeah, you guys should go watch the Flock League video after you watch our draft. Real money draft. Trey McBride at the 3-4. Alan said, I saw Cracker Barrel stock jump 6% today. Wasn't sure what caused that. Well, there you go. There you go. I would buy Cracker Barrel stock if they're actually going to stay the same. Guys, this is like the news of the century. Cracker Barrel tried to self-implode, and then they saved themselves from implosion. That's self-awareness right there. Yeah, Shoemake's correct. We do super messages through the site, so YouTube doesn't take like a third of that or half at least. So if you want to send a super message in with a question, then you can just go to follow the link pinned in the comments. And would also recommend the season pass as well if you want full access to the site and all the tools there. JSN Tyreek Hill go at the 3-6, 3-7. Henderson all the way up at the 3-5. I'm not going to lie, guys. The gap between Hampton and Henderson is closing, and I don't hate it. I don't hate it when it comes to their production outlook and upside this season. What sucks is Dennick's freaking sharp, and I'm terrified that he's going to snipe me. So I like can't even look at the board because I don't want to show him what positions I'm potentially looking at before he makes his pick. Heck yeah, it's premiering, guys. Flock League video reaction, Nate. Ha ha ha. That's funny. That's funny. Okay, Marv goes at the 3-9 there. So Dennick's start is Genty, London, and Marv. Let's see who I want to go with here. Oh my golly gracious, geez Louise. I've never seen T. Higgins fall this far. I will take some T. Higgins here. Sweet. T. Higgins, 310. I love that price. Love that price. Everyone keeps talking about how awful the Cincinnati defense is, but they play the Browns week 1. Am I cooked if I stream them? If you stream like the Browns offense, like if you start Jerry Jeudy is a must start week 1. Everyone who plays the Browns or everyone who plays the Bugles defense will produce. You gotta be starting Joe Flacco over Lamar Jackson. That was sarcasm. So please don't quote me on that. There's no Cracker Barrel in your state. Top, where do you live? What? Cracker Barrel should be everywhere. Would you trade Keon and Shipley for Sutton and Dynasty? I'd take Sutton, easy. If I'm keeping Nico Collins is going double running back. Yeah. If Judkins was fully with the team now and no off-field incidents, how far off Hampton and Henderson is he? He's in an objectively worse situation. So with Henderson rising, I think you would probably see, you probably would have seen Judkins settle like early 5th. Still on that same tier of like Connor. Good question. Kamara goes at the 311. I think that's a great pick. I love Kamara. I've drafted so much Kamara that I need to like stop drafting him or I'm going to be overexposed. Burrow might drop a career high. Burrow's going to feast. Yeah, no, I think Burrow will be the reason that offense even has a chance at making the playoffs because we are legit looking at a potential historically bad defense in the Cincinnati Bugles this year. Historically bad. Dennick said, Nathan about to snipe me. Rabona said, I've been waiting to see you in a live stream. Why did you do it? Do what? Live stream? I mean, I appreciate you wanting to hang out with me in a live stream, but I don't know what you're talking about. Ollie Gordon. Some people are hype on Ollie Gordon this year. Dang, already dropped Lamar for Flacco. Yeah. Flacco threw for 4 touchdowns multiple games last year. Yes, he did. Flacco's like one of those guys that he could literally fling a ball like 80 yards if he was in a wheelchair. Some people just like don't lose arm strength, which is why he's, for an old washed up guy, he's aged pretty well as like a journeyman quarterback. Very similar to Fitzpatrick, actually. There goes your big running backs. Kamara, Cook, Connor, and Walker. That was pretty early for Connor, I'm not going to lie. Okay. I've got 2 receivers. I've got a running back. Big fall off after here at running back. I'm going to let Dennick get the guy that I think he potentially wants. No, actually, I think I know who he wants. I'm going to take Chuba here. Get my 2 running backs, get my 2 wide receivers to start the first few rounds. Boom. Make the camera smaller. Thank you for the reminder. Thank you. Snipe Dennick. Sorry, bro. Yeah, looking at that, I was like, ain't no way a running back's going to make it past you. that run probably had you sweating. That's how I felt in the flock league at the 407 or 406. Is just snipe, like literally septuple sniped. It was ridiculous. Rabona said, take Judkins in all caps. I need answers like badly. Like, bro, you do this for a living. Were you just trying to rage bait for views? Good question, Rabona. I've talked about it in live streams like multiple times. I've talked about it, I think, in a couple of videos as well. Actually, we may cut it out of that video. I don't remember. But basically, long story short is, number one, if I were to do it over again, I would have taken Harvey. Number two, we were a day removed from the news coming out that Quinshon Judkins' charges have been dropped. And we were a day early when it came to the second piece of news being, oh, psych, he's not actually about to sign his rookie contract. He's going to have to wait until the NFL completes their investigation. If I had the full story and like the entire story going into that draft, then no way I would have taken him there. But I was pumped that the charges were dropped, and that first report was charges were dropped. He's going to be going. He's going to be expected to sign his rookie deal very, very soon. So that's the info that I was going off of, and honestly, I just miscalculated as well. I could have taken Harvey, and then Judkins would have fallen back to me, and then I would have taken him there, and you would have said, "Why take him in the 6th?" And I would have said the same thing. So, no, I mean, at the end of the day, it was just a bad pick. So. Not a great pick. And then the Caleb Johnson one in the 6th. Honestly, Caleb Johnson just kept losing value. Like, after the freaking video of his 14-yard run came out, and he literally looked like a guy running with 5 plates on his back. And yeah, but he's moving his way up the depth chart. He's now RB2, I think, in the depth chart, when he was RB3 like a couple days after that. So. Rabona, you don't have to feel bad. I have you seen the Flock League comments? My man, it is totally fine. This is what happens when you make bad picks. So you just don't be me, and then it's fine. So no, honestly, like it's all good and fun. I will say, like, even though I would go back and redo that pick, I became the most famous person in fantasy football for a good 24 hours there. Not in a good way. Not in a good way. Should I trade Bijan for Henderson and Genty? Ooh. Yeah, I would do that. And redraft? Yeah, I would do that. Yo, Nathan, should I give Kyron and Lamar for Gibbs and Kyler? 10-man PPR. Assuming redraft. Again, I'm in redraft mode right now, so Kyron and Lamar, I think. I hope Judkins balls out for you so you can make some folks eat some in the league videos. Rock Candy, you have no idea. You have no idea how much I'm holding out hope that some announcement's going to come out. I saw a couple of tweets today that were like, yo, you might want to keep an eye out on some sort of Judkins news coming out soon, because they've been waiving like every running back that isn't Jerome Ford and Dylan Sampson. The Browns have, which means, again, there's no way that they're not in constant and close communication with the NFL about their investigation. And I could just be reading into this, but again, I'm not the one reading into this. I learned this via like 32 beat writer type stuff. Their depth chart at running back is Jerome Ford and Sampson. They cut everyone else. So I would expect some Judkins news to come out soon. And let me just tell you, if it ends up being positive news, you guys don't even want to know. You don't even want to know what's coming. I'm just saying. I honestly, I'm kind of stupid. I don't know why. I should have done Quinshon Judkins on the thumb of this live league. I'm stupid for not doing that. So let's look at the run here. Denick actually takes Harvey at the 404, which is very interesting. I'm not going to lie, Denick, that was a pretty big reach for a guy that was announced to be the backup running back. He's kind of in the same boat as Harvey. I like Harvey's outlook more to start the season and honestly probably for the rest of the year because he's in a better offense. But that's about a round higher than I would have taken Harvey. But again, I understand your predicament. I know exactly what you're going through. I mean, Denick, you're literally like, you're going through the emotional processing that I was going through during the Flock League when every single running back was sniped and taken away from me in the 4th round. I had to take a receiver. I had one running back going through the first 4 rounds, panicked, took a running back in the 5th, took a running back in the 6th, when in reality, I didn't really need to do that. So, yeah, it's tough. Tough when you miss out on all your guys. Because sometimes you just can't really predict how the board's going to go. I mean, I thought there was no chance that at least one of the running backs, I thought there was no chance that Chuba Hubbard didn't make it back to me in the Flock League in the 4th. And all of those guys went. So I had it on good intel, like the running backs that were going to be off the board before my pick. And I was hopeful for 2 guys. I was hopeful for Henderson, but I knew it wasn't for certain. And I was like, for sure, Chuba's going to make it back to me. And I'll tell you what, man, drafting around non-creators is incredibly difficult because they're very unpredictable. You don't really know what they're going to do. And I was drafting by all the editors. Zach had it tough too, honestly. If you ask Zach, he'd be like, Zach was getting sniped left and right like the entire night. Wilson at the 5-2 is a steal of the draft. 100% it is. Could have taken Wilson at the 4-3. I could have taken him. I thought about it, and unreal that he's fallen that far, honestly. Really, really great pick. I will say, if not for that Laporta reach, Aaron probably would have had the best start. Still a good draft from Aaron, but I think it was a little early for Laporta. Laporta usually goes late 6th, early 7th. That was 2 rounds early. So again, I'm not going to throw a ton of shade to you, Aaron, because, I mean, you saw what I've done. I committed the greatest crime of all time, apparently. Always fear the wildcard drafter, 100%. 100%. Big run of quarterbacks here. Ted McMillan at the 412 I really like too, honestly. I love seeing Sutton go in the 5th. Hunter's also another great value at the 5.5. Rice, honestly, at the 5.6, I'm not ultra comfortable with, but it could pay off if his suspension's only a couple of games in the middle of the season. We will know by September 30th, a month from now, how long he will be out. And I will say, if Rashee Rice falls to the 6th, goes in the mid-5th, and his suspension news comes out September 30th, and it's announced that he's out for 2 to 3 games, he is probably the value of the draft. The value of 2025. The league winner of 2025. Denick was praying I would take Wilson. Yeah, when I looked at your team, I figured that's what you were looking for. So, all right. What are we looking at here? Okay, I like the guys that are going to come to me on the wrap. Where are we? 5th round? I'm not going to lie, dude. The more I look at it, the more I am just absolutely in love with David Montgomery. Give me Monty here. Give me Monty. Odunze was a good pick there, Denick, at the 5.9. I definitely would have strongly considered him if he was available at my pick. Nathan is Jar Jar and Avery is for Nas thumbnail, please. You'll have to ask our graphic designer. You'll have to ask Becca to do that. We're not in charge of that. Just kidding. We're in charge of everything. But Becca does have creative power because we're not creative. Yeah, everybody drop a like. Let's get to 69 likes. Let's get to more than 69 likes. We got 300 people watching, only 37 likes. If you guys are liking listening to me try to explain why I took Quinshon Judkins in the 5th round and humiliating myself doing it, drop a like, please. Appreciate you guys. So I'm back on the clock here. Pickens goes, Flowers goes, Puka goes. That was a triple snipe. Yikes, Amunda. Ugh. Where are we at here? Where are we at? You know, Sal took... I cannot name drop. I cannot name drop. So bad of me. There are some wide receivers here that are really good picks. How many? I have Monty. I already have a line. I'm going to go with another line. I'll take JMO. JMO in the 6, I'm really cool with. In the Flock League, he went early 5th, I believe, and a couple other receivers that I'm not going to mention until they go off the board here, but one guy that stood out to me like a sore thumb, I thought about taking him, actually went in the 4th round in the Flock League. Relentless instead of Aaron went or Sutton instead of Laporta. His team is goated. Yeah, no, I agree. How many drafts have you guys done? A lot. I go back and look. I know it's been here. Let me look here on my end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. For DFF, I think Avery's done like 7. So between the two of us, by the start of the season, we will have done like 15. And then we do live league drafts and Dynasty like all the time. We're not in all of those leagues, but they're community-led leagues, and we just stream them. So we did like 25 of those. There goes DJ Moore at the 6'5". That was the guy I was talking about. DJ Moore, Sal actually took him in the middle of the 4th round. Sal took him at the 4-8 in the Flock League. That's a good value on DJ Moore, I'm not going to lie. That's a really, really good value on DJ Moore. I have never taken Jamison Williams. I don't know if I've ever taken Jamison Williams ever in any fantasy draft. And I've done well because I've won plenty of leagues. But JMO at the 6'3", it's not half bad. Big play guy could go off any given week. If last year was any indication, he's the number 2 option there behind Amon-Ra St. Brown, not Sam Laporta, in terms of target volume. So took the shot there, willing to do it, trying to kind of shake it up. I'm trying to get shares of guys that I haven't really gotten shares of in a lot of my drafts so far, since the season's getting closer. Devonta Smith, also a great value. Yeah, I actually, in one of my drafts, I got Devonta Smith, I think, at like the 6'4". I think I got him in the 6th round. Sutton's contract loaded with incentives tied to Broncos scoring, touchdowns, etc. Strong motivation, 1,065 yards is the last year's incentive. I bet he makes it. I bet he does make that, actually. I agree with you. What's it like being business partners with your best friend? It is the best thing. It's an absolute blast. We literally have so much fun. I will say, Avery would say this too. There is a reason that people say don't go into business with your friends. But we actually have really, really good dynamics. So we have an absolute blast with this stuff. You just, again, like, got to separate work life from personal life, and we do a pretty good job at that, I think. So we literally went from just like being best friends, hanging out, doing fantasy football all the time, to just creating content. And because we had a microphone, Avery had some tech knowledge about that stuff, and kind of took it and ran with it. And it's been a heck of a ride, but it's literally been an absolute dream. I mean, I do this full time. Avery basically does this full time as well. Anna's been here the whole way. Anna Gwynn in the comments. We've known Anna for years. She's been like our biggest fan. And yeah, no, literally like Avery's my best friend. So we always have fun. We honestly are like brothers too. We get under each other's skin all the time. So he's having an absolute blast with my Judkins pick. And he has an absolute blast winning the Flock League and telling me about it every freaking day. So that's why we can't let him win this year. I literally don't know if I could be around him. Like if he won 2 years in a row in the Flock League, and he knows it too. He's like, I don't think I'll ever live it down. Like his ego would be so big if he won back to back in the Flock League that, yeah, it would be crazy. So don't trade Jefferson, Nathan Sunraker says. I don't know. Did they put that in today's video? Who are you trying to get for J Jettas? Who am I trying to get? I don't know, man. I don't know. I wouldn't say I'm intentionally shopping Justin Jefferson right now. Anna's gonna cry. I don't know why. I don't know what you're talking about. Nathan, you bozo, you better not trade Jettas. I'm gathering that some of you guys maybe just came from the Flock League video. Like brothers too, feels right with the confetti cannon last night. Very older brother thing to do. yeah. I just wish he popped that thing off earlier. Freaking stressing me out. Gosh. Have you guys explored? Oh, jeez, Jack. I gotta screenshot that. I sent a trade to Homie and League, David Njoku plus Travis Hunter for Brock Bowers, and he accepted, but he's saying he didn't mean to now, should trade back to him. He's saying he didn't mean to now. Like, how far removed is he from that trade? Is he saying he didn't mean to after he got a bunch of criticism for that deal and saying like, oh, it was an accident? If he's trying to bamboozle you, then no. If he hit accept, then go for it. But I will say, like Avery and I co-manage in a Dynasty league, and we sent a trade to a guy that thought there was another player involved, like genuinely. He hit accept, it went up, and he was like, immediately, he was like, oh crap, can you please send this back? And he honestly, he knew, like, we could have said no and been like, yeah, no, you accepted it, because that's kind of, you know, unwritten rules, but we decided to just go ahead and give it back to him. So I think it honestly depends on the situation. Anna's so proud of us. Thanks, Anna. Anna literally cleans up Avery's mess when he explodes the cannons in the studio, and she brings us drinks. So Anna's the best. Dang, Nathan is really the main character of the Flock League. I think I'm the main clown of the Flock League. I think I'm the main joke of the Flock League. Which, you know, if that's the role that I play, that's the role that I play. If I want to not play that role, then I need to not make dumb decisions. Had he taken JCN instead of Chisholm? What were you talking about, KTI? Are you talking about the draft last night? Nathan, he will not fall to the 8th, so don't even think about him. The league's letting Danny cook them in these trades. I'm not gonna lie, guys. Like, it's fun to make fun of all the other guys in the Flock League with all the trades that they're making before the season even starts. But legit, like, those are all fair trades. For anyone that goes into the comments is like, you got cooked, this other guy got cooked, it literally ends up being 50-50 because those are fair trades. Those are fair deals for the most part. I have preferences on the sides that I prefer. And again, I'll make fun of them for being ultra active after they just drafted their team and don't even like it. I didn't even draft well, and I don't hate my team. Like, Mason's trying to like bamboozle me in trades, and I'm just the absolute worst thing. Take it from the guy who like panicked and would have made the playoffs if I didn't make a terrible trade last year. If I had just not traded, I would have been a serious contender last year in the Flock League because I had Bowers. Like, everyone laughs about the trading away Jefferson. I traded away Brock Bowers, and that cost me a playoff spot, like a very high playoff spot and a good number of wins. So again, like, yeah, I'm going to be flexing a couple of really ugly players the first couple of weeks of the season, but I have Addison coming back in week 4. So if I get out of the first couple of weeks, 1 and 2, it's like unfathomable, or some people in the league, like Mason acts like it's unfathomable to have a poor running back room, or not a poor running back room, but like a questionable running back room. I have freaking Derrick Henry as my running back 1. Oh no, I'm so screwed. It's not like I went 0 running back. So yeah, I don't know. I just, like, I'm not going to make a deal that doesn't make sense for me before the season starts. So like, I'm going to be rigid with my trades. If I make a deal, I'm not really going to budge when it comes to my valuation of these players. It gets a lot more iffy during the season because all these guys are moving up and down boards in terms of rankings because of their actual current performance. Tyler Warren goes to the 7-9. He tries to snipe me there. Honestly, I've taken so much Warren. It's okay. Are you guys really going to do this to me? Are you serious? Can we not? Let's not do this, guys. Holy crap. Who do I take here? Shoot. Guys, you need to make me stop. What is this, 7th round? I'm okay with this because Godwin's going to be back later. I'll take Godwin. Godwin's my pick there. Why are we trading Jettas again, Nathan? Hey, I haven't done anything. Just because I said I wanted Puka Nacua doesn't mean I have to trade away Jettas. Nathan, so you're trading away Jefferson for Puka and a solid running back, question mark? I don't know, Torsten. I don't know. What do you think, I'm going to spoil anything? I love Zach's reaction. I thought it was hilarious. Okay. Pacheco at the 6.8 is not a bad price. Pollard obviously moving up boards right now because Spears is on IR. He's out for at least the first 4 weeks of the season. They're taking it easy with that ankle injury, which I think is the right move for a team that's still kind of rebuilding. Tyron Tracy at the 7.1. Then Caleb Johnson at the 7.7. So nothing super shocking here. Hawkinson at the 6.6 is a little earlier than what I'm comfortable with personally. But I don't think it's terrible. What's the one player you want to roster but can't yet? Chisholm for me. The one player I want to roster but cannot yet. Back in the day, that would have been Dante Thornton, but now he's actually really interesting because Myers may or may not be dealt here. He was always like a fringe, depending on what league format you're in, he's always kind of a fringe waiver guy. Wait, when David Elliott bought you smoothies, did Anna sabotage the stream out of jealousy? No, I don't think so. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't think she sabotaged anything. Ghostify said any publicity is good publicity, unless you're getting just absolutely annihilated by like everyone and their mom. That's my publicity right now. I got Puka and Adams on the same team. Do you think I should push a trade, one of them, or do you think they could both produce at the same time? I think they'll both produce at the same time. I'm not really worried about it. Adams is a touchdown guy, has been his entire career, red zone guy, and Puka is absolutely between the 20s. He's one of the safest wide receiver picks in the league, as long as he can stay healthy. Judkins. The name dropping in the 8th round. Judkins goes to the 7-12. Good pick. Brandon said, if I get the annual sub tier with your code, does my blueprint have to be live or can I get it sent to me? Brandon, we'll get it. We can do it off screen for you if you'd like. No problem. Okay. I'm up again. Interesting. All right, I think I know who I got to go with here. Let's take... Kind of gross. I don't have a share of them yet. He's banged up right now. I'll take Shakir. Shakir in the eighth is just, it's kind of gross. It's whatever. Underdog tweet just came out saying that 8 players who got cut today had fathers play in the NFL. Kind of whack. That is kind of crazy. Anna said no spoilers, please. I'm not spoiling anything. Trading Jettas for I'm not spoiling anything. Y'all are scolding me for something that you don't know if I've done anything. Godwin just passed his physical. You might have just made a great pick, Nathan. That is really good to hear, actually. Let me check up on that. Let me look into that. Christopher Godwin, player card. Expected to be activated from the pup list. Okay, so nothing on sleeper yet. But yeah, what I'm gathering is that he's good to go. Activity-wise, he's got to ramp up. So if he's going to get any usage at all in the first few weeks, he won't be startable. Yeah, I was chill with that running back pick. Here's a running back run, by the way. Speaking of, Charbonnet in the 8th is a little bit early for me. Jalen Warren, Travis Etienne. I think all those picks are... There goes Krosky Merritt. Wonder where Krosky Merritt would go. Was kind of waiting on that and seeing. I honestly, if I were to do it back again, I could have taken Krosky Merritt over Shakir. Myers stock up or down if he gets traded. Depends on where he goes. If he goes to New England, I think it's just as gross of a situation. And he's back with his OG team. I think if anything, that really hurts Diggs because I'm much more sold on Myers as a talent than I am for a 31-year-old Diggs coming off of an ACL. Because I've heard talks that they're talking to New England to potentially deal him there. So nothing's for certain, but don't call Shakir gross. That's not nice. Sorry. I think it's worth getting Achane and Pickens for Puka. My running back room would then be Achane, CMC, and Henderson. What are your thoughts? What would your wide receiver room look like? That's what I would like to know. It's a top wide receiver for a top running back swap. More questionable offense and situation with Achane. Pickens is a 2. So it's a fair deal. Saw a pic of Godwin's ankles. One of them is twice the size of the other. Yeah, that's pretty rough. Got a call today from my student association. My new roommate is a guy named Quinshawn. Well, there you go, dude. Could be Judkins. Maybe he's going back to school like people are talking about. Oh, I got you. Yeah, I got you. No idea what to do in the later rounds in this draft. Yeah, I mean, I think it just depends on what's your current situation look like, what's your current build, and at that point, the tiers, right? The further down a draft you get, the larger the tiers become, and that makes it a little easier to not technically reach on a player. You're really just going kind of team need and high upside bench players that may or may not be cut. Again, so far, based on the algorithm, I feel like I've gone with a pretty balanced approach here so far when you're talking about the skill positions, wide receiver and running back. I was able to snag a wide receiver in round 3. I was able to go running back in round 4, go wide receiver, or actually go running back in round 5. I go wide receiver in round 6. A couple wide receivers here later. Myers was another guy that I was thinking about potentially taking there in the 8th round. I went with Shakir instead. Took Godwin in the 7th. So again, I'm pretty much home free at this point and pretty flexible in terms of like what I can actually do over the next couple of rounds. There goes Myers at the 9-2. I think that's a good pick. I'm surprised. I'm not going to lie. I'm very surprised that Mixon goes at the 8-11 here after the news that he's on the NFI list for the first 4 games of the season at least. Apparently, this is my words via Avery's words, via someone else's words that, again, I didn't hear. But apparently, Joe Mixon might get surgery. He might not play this season. So that's a pretty risky pick. I was expecting to see him fall further. I thought he'd make it to the 10th round. Gotta shrink my cam even more. Boop. I'm tiny now. Nick said, does a draft guide change for a start 7? We do have some notes on start 7 league formats and how your strategy changes. So yes, we do have some like adjustments that we'll recommend that you make in the algorithm there. Again, if you guys want access to the algorithm, it looks like this. It literally has everything you need regardless of what platform you're on. It's got average ADP for all those platforms and all put up against our current rankings, Avery and I's. We've got all the boards. We've got literally every single pick, the recommended strategy for wherever you're drafting, whether it's a 12 team, a 10 team, and then for some of those like obscure league settings that are maybe like a start 7 or a 14 team or an 8 team or something like that, we've got notes for you guys there as well. I would highly recommend that. Head over to flockfantasy.com/domain. Link is actually pinned in the comments of the YouTube chat. $34. It's 30% off. It's usually like $50. We're getting it 30% off right now before the season starts. Unlimited tool access on the site. You'll get access to that draft guide that I'm using right now, that I have been using for this draft. Updated weekly and rest of season rankings from Avery, me, the FSC guys, Zach from Dynasty or from Fantasyland, and Mason from Flock Fantasy as well. So, not to mention, you get some start sit questions and trade questions. I'm telling you, man, those will pay off in the middle of the season. You're gonna want those. So, flockfantasy.com/domain. Sign up for that season pass, $34. Send us a DM. We will also get you in one of these live leagues if you sign up. Again, the live leagues are coming close to coming to an end, but they're not quite there yet. We've got room to do a few more leagues before the season starts next Thursday. But again, those spots are limited. So if you want a guaranteed spot, I would sign up with the season pass now. Send us a DM ASAP on Discord once you sync your roles, and we will get you the form to get into one of these live leagues. Zeno said, not trying to spoil, of course, but Nathan, if you do that thing that we think you're going to do, you better not do it. The streets will never forgive you. I know. I think it's so funny. Like, my favorite comments are the ones where it's like, it's almost like I personally insulted a viewer of the channel and like physically hurt them. Like the only person I'm hurting is myself right now. I don't think Bill Cosby can break an arm tackle. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Just sent Rice and Manung guy for Cook in an early 26 first. Did I cook or have it been cooked? Fair deal. All right. Reed in the 9th round is not bad. Cup in the 9th round is also not bad. Scattaboo I like in the 9th round. I think Scattaboo is a really good pick, for being honest. I think Scattaboo is a very good pick. Let's see who Dennick's going to go with here. Kyler Murray goes to the 9-9. He takes his quarterback after he gets worn in a couple rounds earlier. I'm eyeing a couple of guys here. Let me get... Yeah, these guys won't be available in the turn. They're going to take a guy. So I'm going to go ahead and take Ingram with my first pick. I like Ingram. Avery's obsessed with Ingram this year. I like him. I think he's a good pick in the 9th round. Oh man. I will say with all the Puka stuff from last year and like what he did to me emotionally when he went down, like all you can do is just have fun with it. So I was having a little fun with it in today's video. Danik said, Nathan, that's someone else's me. I said Mixon probably has a decent shot of season-ending surgery. I got you, Danik. You're like our inside man. Someone has a trade addiction in that league. Yeah, that would be... I mean, you guys knew this before that video even came out. Danny is addicted to trades right now. They're like, oh, you're just jealous that you can't get deals done. I'm like, no, I just don't hate my team necessarily. And I'm trying not to be desperate at running back because everyone's telling me that I should be, which means they're trying to exploit me. And... you know, get me to freak. So I'm not really big on doing that right now before the season even starts. I'll panic in week 3 or 4 when I'm potentially 0-3 or 0-4. I literally, if I come out of the first 3 weeks of the Flock League 1-2, I feel like I'm going to be really set because I've got Addison coming back. Like, I expect to lose a chunk of games in the first quarter of the season. So my time to make a run is going to have to be at the end of the year. And honestly, that's the time to make a run. Because if last year was any indication, the best teams in the league didn't even make the playoffs at the end of the year. The best teams in the league to start the season did not make the playoffs. That was Badaki and Danny. Badaki and Danny were head and shoulders above every other team, with the exception of maybe Zach. All right, what are we looking at here? Michael Pittman in the 10th is a nice little shot to take. I will take Pitty in the 10th. Double checking here. And I'm not even saying I agree with this pick necessarily from Avery in the Flock League, but he took Pittman at the 8-9 turn, and I just got him in the early 10th. So 10th round Pittman, sure. I'm not even like, I'm very realistic with Pittman this season. I don't think he's going to be crazy. But it's a shot worth taking, especially like Downs struggles with injury. If Downs can't stay healthy and Warren starts slow, Pittman's the number 1 target there. So, and Daniel Jones is a little eensy-weensy bit more accurate than AR is, which is not saying much, but it does go a long way. It matters. Now my camera is ultra tiny. Woo! Sleeper Noti told me Godwin is now questionable. We are back. He's a highly questionable. He'll probably turn into doubtful before the start of week 1. Sleeper just removed Godwin from IR. Now we all got to drop someone. Ooh, rip. When Mason showed Nathan's team in the vlog, it was like when one of those ASPCA commercials come on. Just heart-wrenching to see. Where can I donate? That's pretty funny. Hey, I mean, I've got Dante Thornton on the up, bro. Are you kidding me? Dante Thornton. with no Jacoby Myers potentially. I mean, I'm going to be starting some goats that you've never even heard of. No, it's going to be ugly. I would love you to donate some players to my team in the first 3 weeks of the season before I get Addison back from suspension. Once Addison's back, I'll be fine. Because at that point, my 2 flex spots will be Garrett Wilson and Jordan Addison, which is A-okay with me. I have one of the riskiest teams by far. Probably one of the lowest floor teams. Like if Marv doesn't hit, Garrett Wilson underwhelms, and Addison is like super shaky, then I'm done for. I'm absolutely done for. Appreciate it, Kyle. Thanks. I'm actually interested. What do you not like about these picks? These are all at ADP picks, if not. I got some ADP values actually. Right, Achan at the 2-3, Puka at the 110, Achan at the 2-3. I don't know how you can really dispute that. Higgins almost constantly goes early third. Chuba's always going mid fourth. Montgomery's going 5-6 turn. JMO I see consistently going in the 5th. And then Godwin and Shakir, like those are all at ADP picks. So I'm just curious, Kyle, like what do you think I should have done differently here? I love this. This is hilarious. Nick, I never said anything about Justin Jefferson. I said I want Puka Nacua. I never said Justin Jefferson's name when I officially called out to Zach. Breakpoint for Mixon and Judkins. Help me, Tiny Nathan. Yeah, I am tiny right now. Breakpoint is in like when do you have to take him? I think you have to take the shot on Judkins in the 8th. That would be the breaking point for me. And then for Mixon, breaking point is probably like 11th round. I'm not really interested in Mixon right now, which is kind of a big 180 from what I was previously. Nathan, what's your personal take on Henry this season? Well, it's good enough that I was willing to take him at the 206 in the Flock League. I don't think Derrick Henry will be the running back 1 overall. I think he'll be a top 6 back if he stays healthy. I mean, if last year was any indication of how he's utilized, he's going to get limited snap share, but maximize opportunities when he's on the field. Basically saving his stamina for like unnecessary plays where he's not going to get the ball, and then they'll just feed the crap out of him when he's on the field. I mean, he had ridiculous volume last year. So we won't know who has a bad draft until the season is over. You're right, Sunraker. I mean, I will say, like, I liked my draft last year more in the Flock League more than I did this year. And if you go back and look at that draft that I had last season, like, a lot of people did not like my draft. Mason and a lot of the creators said that people were saying it, that I kind of crashed it after the first 4 rounds. But like all the shots that I took later in the draft hit. So it ended up being a really, really good team. And then obviously I just traded guys away that I shouldn't have traded away. But again, it ended up being like, there's just, I think it's funny that everyone currently right now is flexing their my teams in the Flock League, saying that they have the best teams going into the season. Like, not only is it unknown and unpredictable who's actually going to produce at expectation, then you factor in injury. And I'm just telling you, man, there's going to be a lot of crying babies in the Flock League this year when they, after they flex their my teams, and then they have a couple injuries, and they're 1 injury away from being in shambles because they have no depth. So that's a big part of it too. I mean, there's a big chunk of it is luck. Mooney at the 10-12, I really like. Really like. Mooney's one of my favorite late round picks. If you look at what he did last season in PPR formats, really nice. 17, 14, 31, 18, 19, 14, 20, and 13 points. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games of the 16 games he played. Half the time he was putting double digits up. And yeah, he's very boom bust. But even his bust games were 8 points, 6, 9, 5, 5. Like, he's not laying goose eggs. Biggest disappointment was week 1, and then he really kind of picked it up after that. That target volume for a deep threat, that's opportunity every single week, which is what we like to see. So went down at the end of the season, which is definitely worth noting. I think it's why he's not going higher in drafts. But like, much prefer him over Marvin Mims. Like, Marvin Mims gets no consistent volume, and that was demonstrated in a limited sample size at the end of last season. And you factor in that everyone's team looks good based on their rankings. Zeno, you are 100% correct. I mean, we were given the FSE guys grief for this because they moved all of their guys that they drafted up in their rankings after they drafted them. I moved like half of my team down my rankings after I drafted them. Like, you kind of got to be honest with yourself and be a little bit self-aware and understand where your shortcomings are so that if you need to adjust in the middle of the season, then you can. But if you're just going to be married to your players all season, then you are going to be in shambles if you can't adjust correctly. So oh, you're so right, Lou. You're so right. Oh, man. Appreciate you guys joining tonight. We got like 260 watching right now, only 95 likes. Drop a like if you haven't already. It would really appreciate if you guys did that. It goes a long way in pushing the video out and pushing our channel out. We actually just hit big milestone for us. Our draft strategy video that we dropped a couple of weeks ago officially hit 100,000. So that's our first 100K video ever on both on both channels. We've never hit 100K on a video, and we just broke it today. So that was a big deal for us. And that really is because of all you guys. I mean, for you guys coming and tuning in, trying to advise me on what I do in the Flock League, which is much deserved, much needed. I need your guys' help in the Flock League. Coming, hanging out, watching the Real Money Leagues that we do in the live streams, watching all of our videos that we drop. We've been dropping like 5 a week right now at least. You guys are the reason that we've been able to grow at the rate that we are right now, and we really appreciate it. Like, you guys are the reason that we're able to do this full time. You're the reason that Avery and I are doing this as best friends and business partners, right? And we like truly appreciate it. So thank you guys so much. Only up from here. Yeah, appreciate it, guys. Appreciate it. How many leagues do you and Avery run / manage annually? So on the redraft side right now, on DFF, I will have, by the start of the season, be managing like 7. And then Avery will be managing like 7 or 8, something like that. So like 15 in total between the two of us. And then when you're looking at Dynasty, we don't, we're in some of those leagues, but we don't manage those leagues. They're community leagues. David said, just popping in during a rehearsal break to wish Nathan a happy birthday. Thanks, David Elliott. Appreciate it, man. Levi said, appreciate you too, the way you guys gone about things and kept the community feel is awesome. Thanks, man. Thanks. It's again, like, we just love hanging out with you guys and love doing this content and like hanging out. Like, this is how we started it. We were hanging out as friends, so we wanted to keep it that way. So I really appreciate that. What are we in the 11th round? Yeah, I'll take Brandon Ayuk. Take 2 injured guys, Godwin and then Ayuk in the 11th. Sure. Is Rice in the 5th round too early or about right, whether it's a long suspension or not? I think it's a little early. I would pull the trigger on Rice in the 6th. I would take the shot there. But again, There's a chance you go to get to week 4. He's doing really well, and then he's out for 6 weeks. And that's a pretty pivotal 6 weeks. Those middle 6 are really the deciding factor between like, hey, this is what happened in the Flock League last year. People started losing players 4 weeks through the season, and then they ended up being at the bottom of the league or on the fringe of the playoffs. And then it just ends up being like anyone's game at the end of the season. They lose a couple of unlucky weeks, and then they're done. So Rashee Rice would be the big reason for that if you start out as a top team and then you kind of fall off. And again, I'm not saying it's not worth the shot. I think it's worth the shot in the 6. I think it's worth the gamble because he could only be suspended for 2 to 3 games. What's your day job, King, if you don't mind sharing? My day job is this. This is my full-time job. It's basically Avery's full-time job too. He has another full-time job. He's a data scientist or a data analyst. If I had his job, I would still be working 2 jobs as well. But I didn't necessarily have the flexibility to do both. So I do this full-time. Thanks to you guys. How often do you look back and see your biggest misses, see who your biggest misses are, and what lessons have you learned doing that? Well, the biggest lesson that I learned last year is that emotionally panicking when you lose a player to injury is probably not the way to go. When you lose your favorite player like Puka Nacua, you probably don't want to trade away Brock Bowers. Again, like I traded for running back depth, running back help because I had a weak running back room when Rachaad White was starting to split carries with Bucky Irving. So I wanted to pair Kyron with Jacobs, move J-Jeff for Kyron. That ended up being close to a lateral move in terms of production. And it helped me at running back a lot. The big mistake was moving Bowers. So again, overall, the trade was terrible. So don't panic trade, kind of keep your head above the waves and stay patient. Like when you're talking about redraft, stay patient for the first 4 weeks of the season and then start making moves later if you're really at the bottom of the league in really bad shape. I think that's something that anything's possible. After seeing Joe make the playoffs last year, that's the worst team I've ever seen, period, let alone a team that made the freaking playoffs. Tom Brady goes at the 12-1. Wow. That's pretty crazy, man. I'm going to go ahead and take... Gosh dang it. I have too much Brock Purdy, and I can't stop taking him. I'm taking Brock Purdy in the 12th because I can't not. Can't not take him there. You're the Cam Little of punting running backs. You could say that, but I didn't. I took Achane, Chuba, and Monty. That's my big 3. I'm totally cool with that. You only have to start 2, and then I'll just flex wide receivers the rest of the way. Nathan, IR spots. Yes, we should have 2. I think I set them. I think I set the IR spots as 2. All right, see you, Anna. I appreciate you coming tonight. Yeah, that guy stole Brady in the 12th. You're totally right. Do you know of any other indie YouTubers? I know of one, Papa Poob. Just curious about the streamer community in Indiana. I'm not going to lie. We do not. Outside of McAfee, we know of a couple other like smaller channels, like pretty small channels of people that have started stuff in Indiana. But again, for the most part, not a ton. Actually, interestingly enough, in Austin, where we do the Flock League every single year, that's like the hub for YouTube content creation. There is literally like, you lose count of the amount of big content creators that are based out of Austin, Texas. But yeah, like the biggest content creator truly is Pat McAfee. He's local here. He's not too far from where we are. Probably like 40 minutes from where we are. We're on the south side of Indy. He's on the north side. Logan said, Nathan, why do you sell in the Flock League so hard, brother? You mean, why do I sell players constantly for a discount? I don't know, man. I don't know. I just can't help myself. I'm like I feel like the Joker in the Dark Knight. I'm like a dog. And you just give me something and I'm like, I don't know what to do with myself. You give me Justin Jefferson and I'm like, what do I do with this amazing prize? Do I keep it or do I just like play with it and throw it away? Why is Tom Brady there? That's a great question, man. That's kind of a waste of a 12th round pick, not going to lie. There are a couple of upside shots you could have taken here. Joe's team is the worst, best team I have ever seen, says Daryl. J. Jeff Bowers, Henderson, Evans, Hunter, Pacheco, Diggs, Krosky, Merritt, Scottaboo. Interesting. That's an interesting take. I think it's a pretty good team. Would you trade Harvey and Rice for Garrett Wilson, JT in a second? Yes. I would take the Garrett Wilson side. Easy. Logan said, appreciate the honesty. Still love the content. Thanks, man. Thanks. Gotta have fun with it. Gotta have fun with it. It's, fantasy football content is my job, but it's also a lot of fun. So, Tom Brady for locker room presence, Zeno says. Yeah, okay. Sleeper updated Godwin news. Okay. Let me refresh here. Hold up. Godwin, show player card. Passes physical off the pup list. Officially, there you go. Boom. Okay, there you go. So just another step in the right direction. He's on track here. He's on track. Jerry said, yo, I'm from the draft yesterday. Anything we can do to get these guys to draft quicker? 24 hours a pick is way too long. Draft won't finish until 2030 at this rate. Yeah, I think I'm commissioned there. I'll change it to like 8 hours. And then if it gets even worse, I'll do 4 hours per pick. Because we're coming up against it with the league. Dynasty leagues going 25 rounds and slow drafts. Those things will go for a week or more. So you're right, Jerry. Thanks for that reminder. You can tag one of us in the sleeper chat and we'll take care of you. Okay, so we are over 5 hours into the current pick. Okay, yeah. Lou said I'm actually rooting for Nathan, a comeback story they'd make movies about if your team goes 500 in the flock league. The material for content is going to be great, broski. Yeah, I will say if I end up being one of the worst teams in the league, I'm going to be in a tough headspace. So I would like to be at least a little bit competitive this year. I appreciate the support, Lou. Guy took golden in the 4th of my 10-team Superflex league. LOL. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Steven says, should I take Gronk? Yeah, you should. Go for it, dude. Is he still available on Sleeper? That's crazy. Pat Bryant. Woody Marks. I think Woody Marks is a great pick. Woody Marks has a chance to be the running back 1 there while Mixon is out. I know everybody's saying Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb, I haven't heard any positive report out of camp with Nick Chubb. Dude looks slow as frick, so if Woody Marks shows any juice at all, they might just give it to him. Damian Pierce isn't dead either, honestly. Joe said, I think my team's pretty aight. Yeah, no, Joe, I think your team's pretty aight too. I think you have a good team. Wide receivers set. You have Jefferson, Evans, Hunter, and Diggs. And then running back is fine. You have Henderson, Pacheco, you took Krosky, Merritt, then you got Scattaboo. A little risky at wide receiver, but it's fine. You have an elite tight end, and then you took the shot at McCarthy. You can take a... Like your team is fine. Nate gives really good advice on how to improve a team. Building one is That's funny. Building hey, you know what? I've built some stud teams in my time. I think I won. I don't know how many leagues I was in last year. Probably the same amount as I was this year. Maybe a little less. I may have been in like 5 or 6 redraft leagues last year, and I won like 2 of them. So not bad. That was like a 30% hit rate on my leagues in fantasy last year. 2 for 6. Not bad. Hope your Avery wins the Flock League. Been watching y'all for 2 years now, and this is by far my favorite channel to watch. Thanks, man. Thanks. I appreciate it. I hope you root for me more than you root for Avery, because if Avery wins, I will literally, like, I'll be so mad I won't be able to speak. Because not because of him winning, but like of how insufferable he's going to be if he wins the second straight year. I still don't know if I'll ever get over, again, the progression of, hey, let's change the rules of the draft order, determining draft order the morning of, when we told you it was going to be something else. And then, hey, let's literally gift Avery Jamar Chase in the 101. 3 chances for the 101 to go off the board in the Derby before Avery's pick. And imagine not wanting Justin Jefferson. Or sorry, my bad. Ironic that I said that. Imagine not wanting Jamar Chase. For the channel's sake, absolutely. For my daily sanity's sake, in literally every single video on DFF, I think I would lose my mind. Because he will never let me forget it, and he'll never let you guys forget it. But no, there are. I think Mason would be just as annoying if he won. I don't know if I could handle Mason winning either. Here's the thing: if I win this year, if Domain takes it 2 straight years, I'm gonna petition to rename the Flock League the Domain League. I'm on the clock here with 40 seconds left. We'll take a running back. Psych, we're not taking a running back. This is ugly. This is really ugly. Basically all cut candidates here. I'll take a Drake May shot in case he just goes absolutely bananas with his rushing upside. And that, folks, almost gets us to the close of this draft, like our 12th live draft that we've done. 13th, 14th, something like that. Nathan's subconscious just took over and almost leaked his Jettis trade. No, I didn't. I haven't made any trade. How many confetti cannons do you think Avery sets off at once if he wins again? 10 at once every day that we're in the studio recording a DFF video. Again, reiterating, I don't know if my sanity could handle it for another year. Team Nathan for Flock League all the way. Levi, you're the man. You're the man. Thank you. Gonna win it with Quinshon. No, seriously, the Quinshon pick, bad pick. But I have Jefferson and Henry, and then if Marv does well and Garrett Wilson continues to get the target volume that he's been getting his entire career, I can do some damage with those top 4 guys alone. Not to mention Warren, I think, is going to do really well, and then Baker was a top 4 QB last year. So again, people are freaking out about my last flex spot. RB2 is a little rough, but I think I can get by with Caleb Johnson. I'm honestly not super freaking out about Caleb Johnson, and that's not just because I picked him. I don't have Caleb Johnson super high in my rankings. I think I have him technically lower than where I took him in the Flock League. You have Jefferson and Henry for now. So here goes Kareem Hunt and then Antonio Brown at the 13-12. There you go. If you were Avery, when Mason is going to only let you guys have one team next year, people would riot if that happened. That would be terrible. We would riot if that happened. We would have you guys take to the comments and annihilate him for it. No, he wouldn't do that. Do you have Jettas? Do you? Yeah, I do. Totally freaking out about Caleb because I have him in both my Dynasty leagues. Yeah, give it a little bit of time. I think the slow stuff is a little overplayed. That's not his game. His game's he's a big body guy that's gonna hit the hole in the offensive line, and he's gonna hopefully get a good amount of red zone opportunity. So I'm hoping that he's kind of like a touchdown opportunity machine, in short line yardage or goal line opportunities. And then hopefully sooner rather than later, he can kind of go from like an even split or even an unfavorable split with Warren to like a favorable split. We'll see how long it takes, but that's what I think, Nick. Like, it's an Arthur Smith offense, and say what you want about Arthur Smith, he loves running the ball. And I think it's if it's taken us 4 years to learn anything about Jaylen Warren, it's that he's consistently mid. I mean, he does this every year. So there's volume and opportunity there. Like, Caleb Johnson needs to be Najee Harris, and that's fine with me. That's totally fine with me as a 6th-round pick. So, all right, guys. Appreciate y'all joining tonight. This was a lot of fun. Seriously, I think a lot of people think that I'm like butthurt about the Quinshon Judkins stuff, and like literally, I think it's hilarious. And I like fully, it's like it was a bad pick. Flock League is a ton of fun. I appreciate you guys all popping in tonight and doing the real money draft with us. We'll be doing another one of these this week. I think Avery's doing one tomorrow, and then he said we're going to do a high stakes league again on Sunday because last Sunday's popped off. It went really well. So thank you, Zeno. Thank you for the stream. We stream because you guys come and watch and want to hang out with us. So Cash Awards Chris says, what's the Judas trade? I don't know, dude. I can't. You have no idea if I did or didn't make a Judas trade. So we'll see. But stay tuned. Go watch the Flock League video if you haven't already. Appreciate you sticking around if you are waiting to watch the Flock League until this video is over. So without further ado, go enjoy. And I will see you guys again later. Tuesday.